So the big news in Peter and I's world is that the place where we worked at for a decade almost.
Oh yeah.
And where we met, got sold. It was a newspaper, and it got sold to new owners. And so.
How about a little? When did you start it first? You were there when it first opened.
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
That was like October 2003. Or September. I don't know. Fall 2003.
And that was a fresh, spanking new
Yeah,
York.
we weren't even putting out issues yet. It was a...
And it was a new kind of...
If you have, like, Metro in your city, ours was an executive from Metro Boston stole the idea and started a different kind of that commuter paper in New York.
Which was like the beginning of the Metro newspaper, but also the end of newspaper and print in general.
Yeah, it was. Point. I mean, the model was to capitalize on the fact that the newspaper readership was shrinking, but there wasn't yet cell phone service on subways. So if you had a subway in your city, maybe you wanted a paper that took 20 minutes to read.
Yeah.
So it was like 200-word stories taken from the AP wires. With a little bit of supplemental original reporting.
Which eventually turned into a series of lists.
Yeah.
The listicle before it was digital.
Yeah, so this was... Peter and I left there to move to China. For many reasons. And
we were there for quite a long time, too.
Yeah. And I think, like, I always wanted
a year
to,
after
like,
you did, and
move on, but other newspaper jobs, I was like, what am I going to work at another newspaper?
Yeah. Well, I left about a year before you did. Started the year after you did.
Yeah.
But I had spent that year looking at finding other print jobs, and having worked in print my whole professional career. Spent a year of just going like, oh, this is hopeless. Like, whatever jobs that... I was surprised. I went into that interview, my second interview with the editor, and asked him, how long is this paper going to be open? Like 6 months after it opened, because I was like, why are you starting a newspaper? This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So like 6 years later or whatever, when I left, I was like, well, I've always worked in print. What do I do? I go look for jobs, and there was just absolutely nothing, which was the beginning of the idea of where I joked of like, we should go to China and teach, and after a few months of you being totally frustrated, you just were like, are you kidding?
Yeah, and the day I gave my notice, the managers had just had a big meeting, and my manager told me, like, oh, thank God, because we just had a meeting about, like, potential layoffs. So, like, oh, I'm quitting, and then you're just not going to fill my job again.
And then...
Feels great.